Hello everyone, my name is Seth, and today I'm going to give you my review of Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary was one of my most anticipated films of 2026. I absolutely love the trailers. I mean, it's space. I absolutely love space too. So I was immediately interested. I've heard nothing but good things about the book, and the book is written by the same guy who wrote The Martian, and I loved The Martian movie. This film had so much talent behind it, so I thought this had all of the makings of a great film, and I was 100% correct. I expected to like this movie, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. But before we go any farther, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Share this video around with any friends or family. It could help the channel grow and would absolutely make my day. So I want to say first off the bat that this film is executed at such a high level in every single aspect. From top to bottom, this whole film is incredible. As I was walking out of the theater, I was already thinking, this probably should get nominated for Best Picture, Best Directing, Best Lead Actor, Cinematography, Adapted Screenplay, Score, honestly, pretty much everything. That's how good this film is. Walking out of the theater, I had the same kind of feeling that I did when I walked out of the theater after seeing Sinners last year. This is truly a movie that reminds me why I love movies, why I love film, and why I love talking about it. This is a movie that shows what film can be. This film definitely is an event. It has so much heart and wonder. It has joy, humor, incredibly stunning visuals. It has characters that you connect to in so many emotional moments. I'm not going to spoil anything in this review for you. I want you to experience this for yourselves in the theaters. So I'm going to try to keep this review at a reasonable length because I feel like I could talk about this movie for hours. I almost don't really know where to start because everything is just so good. But I guess let's go ahead and start with the script. The script is kind of the basis, the bedrock for this film. And I think the script was pretty incredible. The thing that works the most for me about the script is that everything just flows so perfectly. We're dealing with flashbacks, dealing with present day, or going back and forth between the two, and we never get lost. We're never doing a past segment and just thinking, oh, let's get this over with, let's get back to the present. And we're never in the present thinking, I really wish we could just go back to the past. That's more interesting. Everything had equal importance, and the way they balanced the two was just so well done. The pacing was very, very good. It never dragged anywhere. It never felt like it was rushing through anything. There's even a time in the film with a couple of our main characters, Grace and Rocky, where they're trying to figure out each other's languages, and they spend just enough time on that for the audience to get it. And they show you kind of how their relationship starts to form without you ever getting bored. Another thing I definitely want to point out is the science behind this. It could have become kind of overwhelming. It could have become a lot. They could have thrown around so many like sciencey terms and really got the audience lost. But everything is laid out and explained in a way that not only feels realistic, which is something that the average audience member can grasp. So they simplified it enough, but it still feels incredibly realistic. And everything in this film just feels so tangible because of the work that they do, just building up to everything we see later on in the film. Even when aliens are introduced, it feels real and it feels tangible. Another thing I definitely appreciate too is that the alien didn't know everything. There was things that the scientists from that species just didn't figure out that the humans have already figured out. So that was another thing that definitely felt very realistic and I definitely appreciated. So I did not read the book before seeing this film, and so I really had no idea what the story was going into it other than what was showed in the trailers. But I just really love the story. I love how the story played out. The story was just so heartwarming. It was so entertaining to me. The whole idea of the sun starting to die and they find this thing out in space that could be the cause of it. But then they find a star out there that's not being affected by it. Like, that's just such an interesting idea for a story. But the story is just so pure and wholesome, honestly. There's not even like a villain in this story is just kind of like circumstantial. But I think one of the things that works so well and really makes the movie, along with the story, is the characters. The characters really make an emotional impact on the audience. I love these characters. I want to spend more time with these characters. And over the course of the film, they did such a great job of developing these characters, having them grow and change and just making the audience fall in love with them. You get to spend a ton of time with our main character, Rylan Grace. Right from the beginning, you get a pretty good idea of who he kind of is as a person, but you see him change and grow as he is confronted with the reality of this situation. And in this film, they do something that I love it when screenwriters do, and that is to really take your characters, have them be well defined in their personality and their traits, and then just have the story squeeze them and see what kind of decisions they make. And they absolutely do that here. And just to explain to you how great they did with these characters, you have a character in Rocky. He's the alien that Grace meets, and he doesn't even have any facial features, but you connect with him. I mean, Rocky had some great emotional moments as well, and how you can pull off getting such a connection between the audience and the characters, even though Rocky doesn't have any facial features. That's insane. That's incredibly good filmmaking. And also have to give a shout out to the animators, anybody who worked on the character of Rocky, because you can even tell his emotional state and what he was feeling just through his body language too. And that's something that's definitely important, because you really just have a blank slate to work with. The relationship between Grace and Rocky is just great. It's so touching and enjoyable to watch. This duo has already become one of my favorite film duos. The movie also is really funny, and it's not just people cracking jokes the whole time. There's a little bit of that, but a lot of it is kind of situational humor and how characters react to different situations or other characters. So basically all of the humor really worked for me. If I had to say any negatives, and it's a nitpick because that's just how good this movie is, I think the only thing I could say is that maybe as we're getting toward the end of the film, it kind of feels like there's like maybe 3 endings. It feels like the movie's about to end like 3 separate times, but that's not really a big deal. That's just really a nitpick that I noticed. It doesn't take away my enjoyment from the film. It doesn't really take away from the pace or the flow. Another thing is that this film is absolutely gorgeous. The way it is shot, you got these shots from space, shots of the ship, different shots from the planets or stars. It really is just jaw-dropping. The use of color in this is really well done. It is very, very smart. It just created some beautiful shots that are like seared into my mind. If you can see this in IMAX, I definitely recommend you seeing it in IMAX, because I did, and it is just awesome to see on the biggest screen possible. But you can basically pause this film at any given time and you can have a beautiful phone or computer background. I love the cinematography in this. Every shot had intention. There were some creative shots that really helped just with the visual flair of the film. And you could have easily gotten a little claustrophobic being in the ship as much as you were, but you never felt that way. And that's on the directing and that's on the cinematography. The production design here is Oscar worthy. The CGI was incredible. Everything felt so real. Everything felt so tangible. It felt like you were basically shooting everything in camera. There was not a single effect in the whole film that ever made me question or ever took me out of the film. And I think Ryan Gosling gave a Oscar-worthy performance for this film. Honestly, it will be a complete and utter shock to me if he's not nominated. I know we still have a lot of films left, but his performance was just that good. He is an incredibly talented actor, and his skills are on full display in this film. Part of the reason you connect with the characters, part of the reason you connect with Grace is the script, but the other part of it is Ryan Gosling's performance. He's just able to break down the wall between the film and the audience. He connects with the audience through his performance. He showed anguish and despair. He showed joy, happiness, sadness, fear, frustration, bravery. And to me, it all hits. There's even one scene where he doesn't even deliver any dialogue. He just gets his performance through with his facial expressions, and that was one of the more powerful scenes that just sticks with me. And they actually do quite a bit of storytelling in this without any dialogue. And I think that's the sign of a good film, is whenever they're able to show you things, show, don't tell. Not that you would want to, but I think you could watch this film on mute and still get the whole thing. Everyone else in this film does a really good job with their performance, but Ryan Gosling, we spend most of the time with him, and he does a great job carrying this film. Even the score was really well done. It did such a good job of capturing the awe and wonder and the beauty of space, as well as the dread and fear. And the score never got in the way either. It just supported what we were seeing on screen. So after seeing the movie and not having read the book, I can imagine that this would have been a very difficult book to adapt. And in my opinion, I think they did an incredible job. This is definitely the best film of the year so far. This was just incredibly high-level filmmaking all over, top to bottom. There's not really any real complaints I have about it. It flows so well. This movie has so much heart, and the characters are just wonderful. You love the characters. You love the characters' relationships. I got attached to Grace and Rocky. It really is just a beautiful story of two scientists having an unlikely meeting and just trying to save the world by working together. Like I've said before, it's visually stunning. See it in IMAX if you can. But this is just such a great experience. This is an experiential film. This is something you want to see in theaters. This is a film that reminds me why I love movies. There's a lot of great films coming out the rest of the year, so we'll see. But honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if this is still my best film of the year come the end of 2026. So I apologize if this review wasn't like super informative. I just want you to experience it for yourself. I do not want to spoil anything for you. But let me say this film is so good, and I really don't think you would regret going to see it. I'm going to give Project Hail Mary a 5 out of 5. But that's it. That's my review of Project Hail Mary. Have you seen this film? Let me know in the comment section below. I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you about it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.